How's everyone doing today? Let me get my coffee. I'm so cold here. All right. Get my laptop set up. Hi Magdalena, how are you? So I can see everyone's comments and questions. Hi Michelle, hi Farnaz. Athira, hello. Hi Susan. Maneha, hi. I'm trying to pronounce the names. Let's see here. Let's see. Maneha, is that right? Hi Karen. Hey you guys. From Washington, hello. Jean Marie, hi Barb. Which recipe did you try, Barb? The macaron recipe? Hello from the UK. Nazanin, hello. Nice to see you here. And happy belated birthday. Hello from Michigan, Sue. Nice to see you guys. Thank you. I have my hair down because I'm not going to be making macarons. Even though everything I've been making goes here, I usually like to have my hair back and everything, but I thought I'd look a little bit nicer before Christmas. So, okay. Barb, I get air pockets in my macarons as well, and I don't mind them. I actually prefer a light and airy macaron shell. And I know I can't convince everyone that they taste good that way because I know it kills a lot of people to have some air pockets, but I really suggest not stressing about the air pockets because macarons are supposed to be this delicate cookie, right? And if they're super full, sometimes they get a little bit too crunchy and cake-like. Hello, Auntie. Hi. It's me, Eric. Hi, Eric. Many recipes. Let me see. Mene, let's see. Maneha, is that how you pronounce your name? Have you tried the recipe with the same ratios of almond flour to confectioner sugar? Like on my video, my Macaron 101 video? Oh, Magdalena tried the banana. How'd you use banana flavoring? Yes, I can suggest a Christmas style macaron filling. Hello from Denmark, hello from Maryland. So we're gonna be making today a gingerbread, white chocolate gingerbread filling. Yes, so you can take this base recipe of a white chocolate ganache and you can add different flavors. So right now I'm gonna be doing ginger, clove, nutmeg, and cinnamon spices. And there are so many other things you could add instead of these spices. You could add peppermint extract to make a white chocolate peppermint ganache. You could steep the tea with any type of flavoring. Your favorite tea around the holidays, maybe like a chai or what else is spicy? Another spicy flavor. I can't think of another tea, but even Earl Grey I feel like is so nice. Constant Comet is awesome. The orange kind of peel flavor, that always soothes me. Yeah, definitely. You could do anything with the base recipe. So you can take this and run with it. Today we are doing 65 grams of heavy whipping cream. I have some Ganache white satin chocolate, white chocolate. I got it from a local bake store. So it looks like this. And you want something that is a good white chocolate. Whenever you're doing ganaches, especially when you want it to hold up for a macaron filling, you need good white chocolate. If you use some type, the number one ingredient, well, not the number one. So this has cocoa butter in it, right? The main thing that makes white chocolate is that it has cocoa butter. A lot of the white chocolate chips that you get at the grocery store do not have cocoa butter. So you just want to make sure that it has some cocoa butter in it. And Calibo white chocolate is really good. That's what I used when I had a lot of orders, because you can get the big bags at Restaurant Depot. This Ganache is good. Even the Lindt white chocolate bars you can get at the grocery store, those are a pretty good price range, and those work well too when you're doing white chocolate ganache. All right, let's see. So I will just really quickly demo this, and then, yeah, Calibo is perfect. I really like Calibo. I'll demo this, and then we can get started on our Q&A. I wanted to be able to have a chilled white chocolate ganache set so we could show how it pipes out and everything, but I did it this morning and it's not set up yet. So I usually have at least 4 hours, let it sit 4 to 6 hours once you do your white chocolate ganache to be able to pipe it. So unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna be ready, but maybe by the time we're done, the one that's in the fridge will be prepared, and we can pipe some out too, just so you can see the consistency of this. Okay, so we got our white chocolate, 65 grams, not white chocolate, of heavy cream. Let me get you guys at a better angle. So white chocolate can be a little bit temperamental. You don't want to overheat your cream because it can make your white chocolate ganache split. So you're going to just do it till it simmers around the edge of your pot. And I'll show you guys when we're at that level, or at that stage. And then we'll pour it over our white chocolate. And this is the important part. You're just gonna let it sit. You're gonna let it sit for about 2 to 3 minutes and let it melt and do its job. And then you're gonna only have to stir it a little bit more. Whereas if you try to start stirring this right after you pour this this heavy whipping cream over it, it's gonna be a pain in the booty. So we're going to let it sit. We'll prepare our spices while we let it sit, and then we will start to do the emulsification, which is when you just sort of slowly stir your mixture until it's nice and homogeneous. Aldi's, oh really? Sue says Aldi's has great white chocolate option. That's great to know. The white chocolate, oh yeah, this is 100 grams of my Ganache white chocolate. Right now I feel like I've been hearing that there's a shortage of a lot of baked goods. So I'm hoping that my product isn't old. I don't really like white chocolate, so it's hard for me to tell. Tastes good. Whenever I have a white chocolate ganache on my menu or anything, I don't love white chocolate, so I will add a lot of flavor to my ganache so it doesn't have that overpowering sweet white chocolate flavor. So this is what the spices will do for us today. It just takes away, I know some people love it, but the spices will definitely mild or cool down, I guess, the sweetness, and just allow it to be a really good pairing with your already sweet macaron shell. Thank you, Sue, for that. We're always looking for really great white chocolate options. Trader Joe's used to have a really huge chunk of white chocolate, and I loved getting that because it was so inexpensive. But they stopped selling it, at least in my area. So, I don't know. I like when I just squat like this. We're still waiting for this cream to come to a simmer. Show you guys what my pot looks like. We're at a standstill, not simmering yet. Spatula. I hope everyone is getting ready for their holiday time. I can't believe it's 3 days away from Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas. So sometimes I'll just kind of stir it up to make sure it's not starting to boil underneath everything. There we go. It's almost at that simmering spot, and I'll show you guys when we're there. Oops. Sorry, I missed that, what you said. Yeah, we've got the gingerbread houses set up. Okay, so we're simmering. Oh, we're almost getting too much. So I'm gonna take it off the heat. Try to get you guys at a better angle. Well, the lighting's awful. Sorry, guys. So it was boiling on the sides. You know how you can tell when it starts to foam, kind of simmer on the sides of your pot? That's where you want to stop. And see the smoke? We're gonna pour this right on in and just let the heat do its job and let it sit. Okay, so I like to sort of get my white chocolate all inside and under the cream as possible. I prefer a smaller bowl, but my smaller bowl I used earlier this morning when I was. Okay, so here we go. I'm just gonna leave just like that. So it's gonna melt. All right. Two pretty nice batches. Oh, Katie, I'm so happy to hear that. You've had 2 good batches since then? I don't have any egg white powder. How many grams egg whites should I use? So Hannah, you can just completely take out the egg white powder. You do not have to change the recipe if you don't use egg white powder. You can add a little bit of cream of tartar. If you're using the 100-gram recipe of 100 grams of egg whites, and I think it's 130 and 130 grams almond flour confectioner sugar, you can use a 1/4 of a teaspoon to a 1/2 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Okay. White chocolate. Yeah, you bet, Pamela. It's Guittard white satin. I got it from a local bake shop called Blake's. Decorated. I'm not gonna try to read. Some kind of decorating shop, cake shop. Okay, so when we are letting this sit with our white chocolate just getting warmed up and melty from our hot cream, we're going to get cinnamon, ground ginger, cloves, and a little bit of nutmeg. And we're gonna just prepare it. I like to get it all mixed up in here in one pot so it's all evenly dispersed before I put it all in to my mixture. So let's start with ginger, our main delicious flavor, because we're making sort of like a gingerbread white chocolate ganache. We're gonna use, this is a 1/2 of a teaspoon so it fits into my jar. So we're gonna do two 1/2 teaspoons. So 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I'm that person that will just eat the pickled ginger when you get sushi. Just like I'll ask for more and more. I love ginger. Just a pinch of cloves. You don't want too much cloves. It can overpower. I don't even do like 1/8 of a teaspoon. Just like a tiny touch. And then about 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg. It's really up to what you prefer, but I'm just eyeballing because I'm just using my, I don't have small teaspoon measurements, so pretty much eyeball it, but it's about 1/8 teaspoon nutmeg, a pinch of cloves, 1 teaspoon of ginger, and then we'll do a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And that just, it's so nice and gives it such a good kick. It stays on your tongue and heats up your tongue when you're done with your whole bite of your macaron. All right. Cream of tartar. No, so cream of tartar is, it's not a sauce, it's actually a powder that is an acid, and it helps stabilize your meringue. So just mix it together. You could whisk it if you have a nice cute little small whisk. And then I'll just let this sit. We can try to emulsify our white chocolate ganache, and then we'll add this in. Oh, I'm sure, Hannah, it's not beginner's luck. I bet it was awesome. Okay, so here's our white chocolate. And we're just going to mix it up. You gotta be patient. White chocolate takes a lot longer to melt than your chocolate ganache, like your chocolate. I feel like white chocolate is always a little more temperamental. So you're just gonna have to keep emulsifying and working it. And I also have no like relation to how long I let it sit while I was doing the spices, because I lose so much time. I've found it's more likely to seize up. Yes, definitely. It seizes up, it'll split. It can be very sassy. So you just have to be patient with it. Work it and even like my bowl, which was cold because the exterior temperature in my house is pretty darn cold right now. So even that could cause the white chocolate to seize up. So you gotta be really careful. If you have an immersion blender, that's always a good thing to have with white chocolate, just to get it super silky smooth. And I'm just gonna keep doing circles for a while till I get all of the little lumps nice and smooth, and then I'm gonna add in my spices. So if you've seen my dark chocolate ganache filling, you know that I like to add butter into my ganaches. It gives it a more like a full body mouth feel. So once this sets for 4 hours at least, then I will add in 30 grams of softened butter. You don't want it to have any chill to it whatsoever, or when you add it into your ganache, it's gonna separate and split. So you let this chill even overnight is what I usually prefer. And then the next morning, I'll just sort of whip up 30 grams of butter with a tiny little whipper, and then I'll fold it into our ganache. So today we're doing this gingerbread white chocolate filling, and you can also not put in the spices and switch it up to whatever kind of holiday theme filling you want. Like we said, we could do peppermint extract. You could do some rum extract and make it taste like eggnog. You could do, let's see, what else could we do with a white chocolate? We said any type of tea. So here we are. We've got our white chocolate, smooth, and we'll add in our spices. There's still a couple little chunks that don't want to melt, so I'm just trying to, and if you can see right here, I don't know if you can see with the lighting, but it's a little bubbly. you want to try, it's not as important when you're doing a ganache filling for a macaron, but if you were trying to do something where you need your ganache to be perfect, you want to try not to incorporate too much air into it and have those bubbles like I do. So the way you do that is you keep your spatula all the way down at the bottom of your bowl and whisk like this. If you're like folding it, you're putting air into it and creating those bubbles. All right. So we got one chunk over here that doesn't want to go. Other than that, we're nice. It's looking good. And we're going to add in our spices. So this will look weird at first, putting in dried bits into your ganache, but it really does moisten up and get nice and dissolved almost. You won't be able to feel like chunks in your mouth is what I guess I'm trying to say. Just mix it in. Then we'll let this sit for at least 4 hours and then whip in your 30 grams of butter. Or if you prefer not to add butter, you can do without it. It just kind of makes it stand up more like a buttercream. All right. Just make sure you get all the spices incorporated. You could use a whisk, but again, you're gonna incorporate a lot more air that way. So it's up to you, a personal preference thing. Okay, I've got this one chunk that didn't want to melt, so I'm gonna just take it out. Boom, taken out. All right, so now we're pretty golden, and this is gonna just set up in the fridge. It's as easy as that, and the flavors are so good. I was thinking of what else you could do with the white chocolate ganache. Let's see where my plastic wrap is. So I'm gonna put some saran wrap directly over it on top and let it chill. And I was thinking, you know, like what else would be good with gingerbread flavoring? So if you wanted to do white chocolate jam, this ganache jam, and then put in like an orange curd, orange and ginger go really well together, or a lemon curd in the middle. Oh, it would be fantastic. And then it's that heat from the ginger, and then the tartness as well, and it'd be super well rounded and a really good flavor for macaron. This, let's see. This is the one I did earlier. So it's still not set up. It'll be a lot thicker than this, but it does thicken up nicely. So we'll see if we can pipe it later, okay? All right. So yeah, I was thinking if we do get to pipe, that we could do some marshmallow fluff in the middle, and then add a little bit of rum extract into our marshmallow fluff, mix it up, pipe it in the middle with our gingerbread outside. Gingerbread, rum extract, I think it'd be really good. Or it could be super sweet because of this marshmallow fluff is super sweet. I was hoping the rum extract would take away from that, but it'd be an experiment. So if it thickens up, we can try it, and I'll tell you guys how it tastes. But it's fun just to think of flavors, think of things you could pair your normal like gingerbread cookie with, just to elevate your flavors. So like say you want a peppermint macaron, to think what else goes really well with peppermint, to add something different than what else you see on from your competitors if you're selling, or just something that you want to be a little extra with. Okay, let's see here. Hi Samantha, thank you for watching. I'm so glad you're here. Ginger citrus cookies. Ooh. I haven't heard of ginger. That's exactly what I was thinking though, because the orange or the lemon with the ginger would be really good. So we all have to try the ginger citrus cookies from Bon Appetit. Let's see. My own, I'm doing this for free. Magdalena, that's awesome. Yeah, how many people are just so over their Christmas baking or who are just getting started and super excited? Hi from Maui. Oh my goodness, I could take those warm hugs. My nose is like dripping from the cold, not dripping, but you know, it's cold and I just need some warmth. Okay. I'm a baby, so the sun is semi out today and I should be very grateful because it helps a lot having that sun shine through. Okay, who saw the conjunction last night or the planets coming together, Jupiter and Saturn? I only saw pictures because it was too cloudy here. I was so bummed. All right, I use a double boiler to add heat. Yes, a double boiler is a great idea for your white chocolate ganache. Then you keep heat on it and you will get all those little pieces that want to be stubborn to melt. That's a great point. Olivia, we were making a white chocolate ganache with ginger spices to make it more like a gingerbread spiced ganache. And then if my one that I did this morning is set up enough, we will pipe it. But for now, I'm here to answer questions. If anyone has questions regarding macarons, packaging, business questions, I'll do my best to answer whatever you may have. My favorite products. Yeah, shoot. Let's see here. Nazanine's all done with her baking. That's awesome. Let's see. Could tell it was two different shapes and saw some color in the small one. Jennifer, I'm confused. I might have missed something above. Which one is your it's good for beginners? Let's see here. So do you mean a good filling recipe for beginners or a good macaron recipe? Katie or Caddy, I prefer, if you want really tall feet, I feel like the Swiss method for me gives taller feet. It might also just be a user thing and it might vary, but I feel like I got humongous feet when I did Swiss method. So a good macaron recipe, if you go to my Macaron 101 tutorial, you go down to the description below. It has a recipe spelled out, and I feel like that is the best size of batch. It has a really good ratio that helps make a really nice circular macaron as well. When you get more confectioner sugar in your recipes, you can get a little bit more misshapen max. I feel like the extra almond flour really kind of makes it sturdier. So I feel like that is a good beginner macaron recipe. It's a good recipe in general. So let's see here. Planets. Oh, about the planets. Yeah. Oh, you could see them there. Thank you, Jennifer. I'm sorry. I asked too many questions and I didn't know what you were talking about. I really wanted to see those. Yeah. Are they supposed to be visible tonight as well then? That's cool. It might be a little bit sunnier tonight for us. Or sunny. Less cloudy. Okay, so questions. Packaging. How do you decide on size? Do you base it off of your packaging? So Deidre, maybe, Deirdre, I'm just gonna skip. I figured out packaging because I'm sorry, I get so embarrassed that I can't pronounce name. Deirdre, thank you. Woo. Okay, so how I figure out packaging. No, I actually just I always have made my macarons about 1 3/4 inches to 2 inches, and I just bought packaging, to be honest. And I had to, I did little boxes from BPR, I think it's BRP Box Shop, and they show, pictures of your macarons a certain way. And because mine were a little bit chubbier than the ones that they have photographed, I had to switch around the packaging, but I made it work. So you could fall in love. It really depends on your priorities. If you fall in love with packaging, then make it work for that packaging. I just made whatever packaging work for my macarons. So if you have a preference of packaging, go for it, and then you can alter your size to adjust. Sorry, trying to get back to the other questions. What have you ever done a light maple syrup? Jean Marie, do you mean a light maple syrup in a white chocolate ganache or any type of buttercream or in my macarons? So Farnaz has a problem with the gap between the feet and the shell in the Italian method. So you have concave. Are your macarons concave then? When I get concave macarons, I usually have them because of either too low of heat. The heat distribution in my oven is too low. It could be your pan is insulated and maybe it's not giving you a good rise in the middle. Or when I overmix and I have too wet of macarons, sometimes it does weird things to the bottom of my shells. Let's see here. Packaging best ways. So I really, Barb, back to your packaging questions, I really just went for, at first I had my heart set on these blue boxes, and then they ended up being too expensive to continue on with them. So I changed, white was way less expensive, to just white boxes. Get your own stickers or stamp. I did from Simply Stamps, I made a stamp of my logo, and then I just stamped each box, and you can put your sticker, your label sticker somewhere else, and it just was a lot less expensive than custom boxes. So that was nice. If you are trying to ship to friends or whatnot, the plastic ones are better. Not as good for the environment, but they hold your macarons in place better. Or you can get inserts, plastic inserts into your cardboard box macaron boxes. If you also, you can do that as well. They have inserts, kind of like the big plastic containers. Katrina, hi Katrina. What causes lopsided macs? I tried, but I'm not sure how to fix it. Okay, so Katrina, lopsided macarons could be so many different things, and it's so frustrating. I had a ton when I first moved to this new place, and I realized I needed to rest longer. There are a lot of other things that could be going on. Usually it's an oven issue, and it's poor air quality in your oven. So you could, if you don't already, flip your tray upside down, pipe on the upside down portion of your macaron tray like I've shown in videos. You can make sure you're piping, even though I've seen lots of professional macaron bakers pipe at an angle and they still have beautiful feet. So I don't know how much piping is an issue, but I do feel like it could make things janky if you're piping at a super awkward angle, or like somehow closing off the area where you have where the foot would grow. If you somehow like touch that area, it can cause your feet not to grow. Over drying can also cause it. If you have like a fan coming at one direction of your shells, and you can kind of see, especially on a silicone mat, when they're really dry on where the macaron meets the silicone mat, and sometimes I can tell I'm like, that's gonna not rise. It just somehow gets impeded from rising when I over dry them. Too many macarons on one tray. Some ovens only take, I know some people that can only do like 2 rows of macarons in their entire oven, or else they start to get lopsided ones too. That goes along with your uneven airflow in your oven and air not being able to get around all of your little macarons. Hi Julia. So let's see. And another thing, so I said basically bad airflow, over drying, under drying. I feel like under drying is more of an issue than over drying. And then piping at a weird angle. And another one is macaronaging. If you feel like you're not getting your whole mixture macaronaged consistently, then you could definitely cause some lopsided macarons. A lot of people get lopsided macs when they try to do two-tone colors because they are not macaronaged at the same consistency. There we go. All right. Zainab, how long did it take you to complete the CFO process when you are in LA? Yes, it is such a daunting procedure, especially when there's so many inconsistencies between counties, especially in LA. I just know that because of personal experience. I first sent my CFO licensing through Los Angeles County, to be honest. I didn't even know Pasadena had its own entity or health department. So it's frustrating because there's not extremely good outlined procedural things to like tick off and be like, okay, did that. But once I got set up on the right spot and went through Pasadena's health department, it took, oh gosh, I think 3 weeks from sending in my application to going to the health department and having them look through my labels and approving me. And right then and there, I don't know what they're doing now with COVID, but they gave me the license to sell right from there. It took her 4 months. Oh my gosh. Wow. So I went in person. So I feel like that might have been faster to go in person and talk to the people. And so maybe right now it's being extra long. But like they sat through it and looked through each thing while I was at a table with them, each label. And to be honest, they didn't know what they were talking about. I had to point out, like I have one thing on I wanted to sell marshmallows as well. And I had one thing on my list that's marshmallows. And the way I make marshmallows, or gumav or whatever, Nazanin, please tell me, gumov, how you pronounce it. So I had that on my list, and I had to point it out that I had egg whites that were uncooked. It has an Italian meringue like whipped into the egg whites, so it does kind of like an Italian meringue buttercream. So it pasteurizes them, but she didn't even notice, and I had to point it out, which I don't recommend pointing it out to them. Just let them look through it, and if it passes, it passes. But I pointed it out because I'm like I follow the rules, and like to a fault. And she was like, oh yeah, thanks for pointing that out. That is not acceptable to sell. Gumov, that's what I was trying to say, Nazanin. Gumov is marshmallow. Gumov. Anyways, so I don't remember the point of that. Labels are frustrating is what I was trying to say, and there's no telling what they're going to deny or accept. So it can be a lot of back and forth, as other people have experienced, or like me, it was pretty straightforward. Okay. I apologize. That was sometimes you get a little bump on your macarons. Oh hi, Bessie's Treats. So if you get a little bump on the top of your macaron, if you do it right after you pipe it and kind of try to level it out, that might be better so it doesn't dry and then you're moving it around, because that can cause it to look not so nice. Or you can mix a little bit more and you will not have that little nipple stay up there. Yes, Gumab, I wish you could talk. I wish you could talk. I really would like to hear you pronounce it because I'm a sad excuse for having lived in France for a couple months. And it's like all the people that work in bakeries when you're in France, you know, are very young because they start at a young age. They have apprenticeships. And I just felt extremely lacking when I couldn't pronounce anything. I tried. I wasn't, yeah. Okay, so how do you make whipped ganache? So Sue, when you want to make whipped ganache, you are going to usually add a lot more butter into it. Not always though, because I do have a vanilla white chocolate ganache with no butter. So if any type of ganache, you're gonna let it cool first and then whip it, and that's basically all. You just whip it at the end, and that's how you make whipped ganache. Usually you will have more ratio of whipped cream to white chocolate than normal. Then like your 3-to-1 is usually the white chocolate ratio, unless you add butter like I did, and then I had 2-to-1 in this recipe, basically. So it's when you take that butter in with when you add the butter to the whipped cream, it would be 65 plus third. I don't know. It was a 2-to-1 ratio though, once you add the butter and whipped cream together to the white chocolate, if that makes sense. Okay, let's see. How do you make, okay. I'm about to start selling my Macs, but I live in Puerto Rico. Yeah, so Steffi, that's definitely a concern. You don't want the Macs to get, you know, too soft, I guess, very quickly. So my recommendation would be to keep them in the refrigerator until as late as possible. So when you're selling, if you have some type of chest cooler that you can keep them in, that would be best. As soon as your clients take them away, just tell them best to store in the refrigerator and eat after about 15 to 30 minutes at room temperature, and that should be good. But it will definitely be better if you try to, you know, advocate for your little macarons and tell your clients the best way to take care of them. I know when I like when people have little cards that say, hey, you know, I'm best enjoyed when, and then give instructions. And it's way better than handing them off and listing off all this stuff, because I've tried that, and one, I always forget things to say, and two, I feel like I'm just sounding, I don't know, you sound like they don't know how to take care of goodies, you know, you're like, make sure this and this and this, like it's a child as you hand them off. So it's just nice to have it written down so it doesn't have that awkward handoff. Oven temperature, someone said, okay. Full and perfect on parchment, however. Perfect. Oh, that's very interesting. Is it Alina? So your macarons seem to be a little bit less full when you're on Teflon. Is that true? Yeah, you could try to increase your oven temperature a little bit on Teflon. Teflon should be a better conductor than your parchment, but maybe because it's a tiny bit thicker, that you could try increasing your temperature. If that doesn't work, maybe decreasing it a little bit, because Macs can sometimes do the opposite of what you think when you think that they're going to be better with a higher temperature, and in fact sometimes it's a lower temperature that really helps them. The slow, it might be that here we go. It might be that the Teflon is a better conductor, so it's rising a little too fast and then it sinks down in the middle. So you could definitely try to lower your oven temperature a bit and see if that low and slow rise will help it. Okay, let me see. Hollow macarons. So Hannah, you said you are having issues with hollow macs constantly. Are you experiencing complete hollows or just a gap in between your shell and like the meat? Do you feel like you have a good amount of meat in those cookies? Sounds so funny. Filling, I don't know. It's not filling though because we fill our macarons. It seems to be complete. Okay, so I honestly feel like our ovens are our biggest enemy when we're doing macarons, especially convection, when we have no fan in our ovens. And I don't really tell the difference. I can't tell the difference between electric and gas, but I do know that convection ovens tend to have a better bake altogether. So we're kind of fighting these ovens, not having commercial grade ovens at home, and I feel like it's very likely to have a little bit of gap in our ovens. But to combat that, I think you're doing everything right is by experimenting, going a little bit lower speed on your mixing of your egg whites for a little bit longer, seeing if that helps develop that sturdy macaron, and try to mix a little bit less and see if that helps. Sometimes undermixing can cause some nice full shells, even though that seems counterintuitive because you're leaving more air. You have Marco, you said, how can I avoid macaron feet from going diagonal? I'd like to see a picture of that. Diagonal, you mean just like out? If they're spreading out when you bake them? Let's see. Oh, someone said that they just started macarons a month ago and it's been the best therapy. I'm so happy to hear that. I feel like it's a definite therapeutic or cathartic experience to just sort of get in your own brain and try to master these cookies. So I'm happy that they are bringing you some joy during this time. How to achieve, so Cotelli Diana, how to achieve a smooth dark chocolate ganache. Have you watched my top 5 fillings video? It has some instructions on how to make a nice, smooth, shiny chocolate ganache, dark chocolate ganache. It sounds like it's separating, or when you're adding in that butter, maybe it's not soft enough. You want it super soft, so it kind of melds into your ganache instead of seizing up and getting grainy. So it could also be that your butter's not soft enough. I don't know what the perfect size for Big Macs are. Big Macs. So it depends on what your customer wants, how many people they want to feed. I feel like the larger your macarons go, the more likely they will break a little bit when you put pressure on them and build up. But I really like 4-inch ones, but you could definitely go bigger. It's really up to, I've seen some really big looking ones and they look absolutely gorgeous. So I feel like it's really up to how many people you want to feed, but it is good to know that they do become more fragile as they get larger. How effective is it to use cream of tartar? Cream of tartar is an awesome thing to use as well. It works in different ways than egg white powder, but it achieves about the same goal, which is to strengthen our meringue and allow us a little bit more time of our sturdy meringue before it completely breaks down and then we get our cracked macarons. So if you just put it in with your, like put it in right before you're adding your sugar, that should be good. I really like adding egg white powder. That's my preference. I feel like adding protein, I don't know, I've always been big on protein and strength, so I'm like, more protein, I gotta add that in. And you can add both though, if you'd like. Let's see. I keep testing and trying. I know, I'm sorry, like macarons, it's so hard without pictures and the process that you guys are going through to give you guys one specific answer, but I will try to outline different things that we can do to help. We're at 51 minutes, so I'll probably close up at 1 hour. Okay, after, right, we're at 51, yeah. So 9 more minutes. It's become hard. What is the so after, Brenda, after you fill, someone did 7-inch macarons and it took hours to dry, but they looked amazing. Awesome. That's amazing. I know, like a big statement like that would be beautiful. So it's really up to you, your customer, how many people you're feeding. Okay, Brenda, after you fill your macarons in the fridge, if they become harder than when they're first out of the oven, is the best amount of time I need to let soften and ready to eat. What is? Okay, so unless they're super mature, your macarons will still be crunchy right outside of the fridge. So once you let them get to room temperature, they will soften up. And I usually, depending on how moist your filling is, I like them about 48 hours after maturing, after filling. It really depends though on if you're using like a jam or something, 24 hours will be plenty. With my like cookie dough filling, it's not very moist at all, so it could even use 3 days. 72 hours would be best. So gauge kind of like how wet is your filling and go from there. But I would say anywhere from 24 to 72 hours is going to be ideal. Is it okay to make shells freeze? Yes, Katrina. If my ganache had set up, I took these out of the freezer, unfilled, and I was going to fill them for you guys, and then after that I freeze again or go straight back to the refrigerator to mature. But yes, make shells, freeze them, and then have on hand when you get an order and you need to fill them and then mature in the fridge for 24 to 48 hours. After you've frozen your shells, they will be a tiny bit softer. It's almost like maturing 24 hours. So you could probably just fill the night before an order and give away 8 hours later. You don't need the full 1 to 2 days to mature. I have a perfect, smooth, well-shaped macaron. Yeah, so if you want a super full macaron, you can add different ingredients to it, like more cornstarch, I hear works, but you're going to take away from that delicate texture. I would suggest, if you want, to start with, for 100 grams of egg whites, that recipe, and like 130 grams of almond flour, 130 grams of confectioner sugar, add in 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon of cornstarch and see where that gets you. It will make a crunchier cookie, and though, so it's, you know, there's that way. Or you can really play with your oven temperatures. Make sure you have an oven thermometer so you can keep track of where your oven sits, and just sort of go like really low, see if that helps, to really high, and just go like 5 degrees each time. And it takes a while, but to get to know your oven is really important, and it could help lower and lessen the amount of hollows you have. You can definitely use a hand mixer. Excuse me. Hand mixers work great for this as well. Hello, thank you for your... So for the recipe I just gave out, it was 65 grams of white, let me try this again. 65 grams of whipping cream, heavy whipping cream, and 100 grams of white chocolate. How long do you keep? So someone asked, how long do you keep the Macs in the fridge? It depends. I've kept them for a week and they're so good. But it really depends on how you bake your macarons. If you bake them a little bit softer, like a little less done, that they probably won't have as long of a shelf life. If you bake them really crunchy, then you'll be able to keep them for a pretty long time. Most fillings, unless you're doing a custard or curd or like French buttercream, most fillings are so packed with sugar that they're not going to go bad within 2 weeks. So you could potentially keep your macarons in your fridge for 2 weeks if you have a crunchier cookie. It really depends on how moist your filling is and how you bake your macaron shells. I have a pistachio video, and it is a pistachio paste and almond paste base for my filling. That's my favorite. What color brand you using to make the super red? For a red macaron, you could use a base of a little bit of cocoa powder. Excuse me, I'm not even tired. I'm sorry. I have like maybe someone else is yawning and I'm getting it through the screen. So for red macarons, you can do a base of a little bit of cocoa powder in your macaron shells, and that will start your mixture with a little bit of more darkness, so you don't have to add as much colorant. But I like to do a little bit of, I think it's the Sugar Art red, and some super red or red from Americolor. So I do a combination of powder and gel, and I'll also, if I really want like a stark red, I'll add some cocoa powder as well. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna check real fast to see if, let's see if I missed some people. Yes, I'm 55. Let's see if I have enough strength to my white chocolate ganache and we can pipe real fast. Oh yeah, okay, I didn't see that. So a tiramisu filling without mascarpone. So you probably don't want ricotta either, right? Something without something super wet like that. Could you make a recipe for us, a creamy filling made of custard? Gay, if you want to check out my I think it was 4 buttercream video, like top 4 buttercreams or something about buttercream. They have an ermine buttercream, which is really like custardy almost, without having the egg yolks in it. Or you could do a French buttercream, and both those recipes are on there. Or if you want a pastry cream filling, I have a video on that too from a previous live. Nazanin, I'm trying to think about, yeah, you could definitely do a buttercream with espresso, if you have that really good, is it called tab? It starts with a T. This is when my brain doesn't, it's like tablet or something. I'll share the brand. It's a, like we used to use it in the restaurants, but it's a really good brand of espresso flavoring, and it smells so stinking good. You could add that to your buttercream, and then it would, let's see, what else could you do though to make it more tiramisu-y? Add some cocoa powder. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I do Swiss and buttercream. I do a Swiss buttercream, which is softer. Yeah, something, if you can sell that, if you're worried about selling, then that's awesome. I'll definitely have to think, but that would definitely mimic the delicious mascarpone more so than an American buttercream, for sure. Can you add cream cheese to your stuff? A non-alcoholic tiramisu? Just don't add the alcohol. Yeah, it's, you don't have to have the, is it Kahlua? Sometimes people put that in. I don't know. But, let's see here. A coffee extract. Oh, you mean so not even the extract part? Can you not have any type of extracts too? Because I know some people don't use extracts because it does have some alcohol, but it will evaporate. Extracts do. No dairy at all. Okay, I'll get back to you on that. I'll message you. Yeah, but you're not cooking the tiramisu at this point, so it doesn't burn off in an oven, but it will evaporate. Tofu. All right, let's see. I'm gonna check that. San Diego. Okay, so how do you do Swiss meringue buttercream with no dairy? Do you don't use? Do you use Crisco or something? Let me see. I think it. Let's try it, even though I don't know if it's gonna hold up. No. Swiss meringue buttercream is okay. That's so interesting that they won't let you put, I mean, I understand cream cheese and those types of things that will go bad faster. But okay, I'm glad that you can do eggs and butter. So pipe a little bit of your gingerbread ganache and then push down, and you're gonna have a nice cookie that stands alone. It's not going to ooze out the side, and this hasn't even set up properly yet, so it's very nice. And I already added that butter in there a couple hours ago. I don't think they know. Yeah, I totally agree. It's so, they really don't. They don't understand. A lot of them haven't even worked in a kitchen, so they don't know. I really wish that more funds would be allotted to these cottage food people who are overseeing, someone with experience, so they would actually know about food safety from our perspective. You know, like I couldn't sell egg whites, anything with egg whites in it, like a Swiss meringue buttercream, because they didn't trust us to pasteurize the egg whites. Whereas, you know, I know how to do it. I'm going to cook the egg whites over a bain-marie to the right temperature, and yet, you know, they didn't want the public to get sick, and I understand. I mean, public safety number one, but it'd be fun if they could take a course just like we have to take a course so they knew what they were dealing with. Okay, So if you wanted to dam it, this is called a dam, when you just put pipe a circle and then you can put something else inside. So like earlier I was saying what would go really well with ginger, if you have like a lemon curd, put it right in the middle. An orange, maybe marmalade or curd, you could put it in the middle. And we are gonna try a marshmallow with a little rum extract. So it might be a little too sweet, but I wanted to try it. So let's see. I thought I had the marshmallow fluff out. Here we go. Marshmallow fluff. This is a super easy way to do it. This is what I would use with my hot chocolate macarons, because I wasn't allowed to make my own marshmallow fluff when I had the business. So, honestly, I'm just gonna take a spoonful of this Jif, I think, Jet Puff. I don't know. Put it in. Put a drip drop of rum extract. It really smells like eggnog. Some people might like it. It tastes better in products than straight out of there. All right. I usually put peppermint extract into here to make a peppermint marshmallow fluff for my chocolate, with my dark chocolate ganache, and then it's like a peppermint marshmallow with dark chocolate ganache. Kind of tastes like peppermint hot chocolate. Okay, so I'm gonna take my 2 spoons and just try to put that in the middle there. I know you're not gonna be able to see, but let me bring it up to you once I get it off. My spoon. So, rum marshmallow with gingerbread, white chocolate ganache, and I'm just gonna let that set up in the fridge, and we'll see how it tastes tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know. Okay. Oh my gosh, Sue, I miss it so much. I'm actually having a really difficult time this holiday season not selling my goods. It is so different when you're used to kind of the grind. It just kind of feels like, ugh, I feel worthless, you know, without my business selling macarons and such, and not doing any boutiques or any venues. We usually have like so many places to set up shop during this time, so it's weird, but we'll get through it. We're all experiencing some weird times, right? Okay, pork, fish, gelatin, marshmallow. I don't know, but I like them all. Give me all of the pork. I don't know. Corn syrup. It doesn't say gelatin in here. Who knows how they make this like they do. Okay. It's such a great ganache, and the caramel. Oh, yes. Caramel, yum. Well, I'm glad you like those. Let's see here. I honestly have no idea what they do with this, but you can make fantasy fudge with it, I guess. Okay. All right, guys. I am going to call it quits. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. If you celebrate Christmas, the merriest Christmas to you. If you had Hanukkah previously, I hope it was amazing and that you got to either celebrate safely with your family or virtually. And yeah, whatever else. Thank you, Dr. Strange. Oh yes, Kwanzaa. Whatever you celebrate, hope it's a good one. Peace out. Thank you guys. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks for another live. And hopefully I can get my booty together and do some edited videos during this time that I'm taking a little break from social media. All right. Happy holidays, Steffi. Thanks for being here. Bye, you guys. See you then. Bye. Oh, I'm trying to cancel out. Thank you guys so much for being here. Happy holidays.